We have the feast day of St. Francis of Rome. At the end of the Roman Forum, great church of St. Francis of Rome, looms rather large there. I have not been in the church, but it's always intrigued me. This great matron, Catholic matron here, who lives such a holy life and performs such wonderful holy works of the spiritual and the corporal works of mercy. I understand that she learned through prayer that the terrible trial afflicting the church in her time, that was the Great Western Schism. Remember that? When the popes had come back finally from their exile in Avignon, France, returned to Rome. The Pope was elected, and the French cardinals decided they didn't like him, so they went back to Avignon and elected another man, same cardinals. And then finally, years later, there was a third man elected with the idea that the other two would resign. They didn't. Now there were three men who had claims to the papacy. And this was so awful that people did not know how on earth this could be resolved, how to escape this dilemma. And because everything that humanly possible they could think of, they tried, and it just made things worse. Now, the fact is, even though you had a man in Rome and a man in Avignon, France, and a man in Pisa, Italy, all claiming to be the popes, and all having certain arguments in their favor, only one of them could be pope. Perhaps none of them, but no more than one could be pope at any one time, right? I mean, it was so confusing that saints were choosing different men as the true pope. Some saints, like St. Catherine of Siena, were correct that Urban VI and his successors in Rome were the true popes. Others, St. Vincent Ferrer, a great saint also, made a mistake and chose the man in Avignon. I guess he was impressed by the arguments advanced by his supporters, But they all had the same faith. All of the people, the Catholic people, had the same faith, the same worship, the true Mass, followed the same moral principles, the commands of Christ and how they were to live. So that unity of faith and morals, that still remained there. Ultimately, that's what triumphed. In the midst of this, then, this so-called Great Western Schism, St. Francis of Rome was assured by God, possibly because this situation caused her such great suffering, to see the church so prostrate by this affliction and this division. It might have been such a terrible sorrow and affliction on her heart that God actually revealed to her that this would come to an end, that this schism would soon be resolved, to give her that comfort. I don't know. It's recorded in her life that God did reveal to her that he would heal this terrible wound. And he did. Possibly her own prayers contributed a great deal to that resolution. In our own day, that's something important to keep in mind. But our patience and our prayers, well, again, God has the power to truly work miracles and solve the problems by grace that we can't even imagine a solution is possible. But, all things are possible with God, as we know. So we have to have that faith and that confidence.